Welcome to Wakanda, a fictional country in sub-Saharan Africa, unless you ask Marvel stans or the US Department of Agriculture under Trump. Apparently, we're not getting untaxed unroasted coffee beans from there anymore. Weird, considering, we did the whole war thing over taxed drinks a while ago. It's one of the most technologically advanced nations on Earth and hidden away from the rest of the world and American spy drones. Nestled in between mountain ranges and a thick forested jungle, their capital city, Birnin Zana, or the Golden City, is a concept for a new type of futuristic smart city, which brings us neatly to the premise of this video. Why does it look like that? On first glance, it doesn't look like what you might imagine a futuristic city to look like, which of course is because you didn't. Stan Lee and the people over at Marvel Studios did. The city sits on a green and heavily forested valley with a central river running through it. You immediately notice the sprawling skyline, a combination of designs inspired by contemporary and traditional buildings found across the African continent. It draws from the solar punk aesthetic, a subgenre of speculative sci-fi that looks at what the world might look like if we solved all the big uh-ohs of our time, like climate change, pollution, and the human impact on the environment. Another big part of the contemporary influences come from the works of Zaha Hadid, an Iraqi-British deconstructivist architect who used flowy, rounded geometries in her design. The city is one of the most prominent and well-designed examples of Afrofuturism, another subgenre of speculative fiction that is the cross-section of African culture with technology. It's a cross-section that appears on so many different levels in Wakanda's design, from the architecture itself to the layout of the city, down to the cultural fabric of Wakanda. The bulk of the city is a vibrant sprawl of low-rise buildings that blend contemporary and traditional styles to build that Afro-futuristic aesthetic. With a highly noticeable lack of and car-related infrastructure, the city is designed at human scale and is walkable, with smaller, densely packed blocks. Different modes of public transportation like these shuttles and maglev hyperloopy trains are seen whisking passengers across the country. Taller buildings are woven into this fabric, popping out in between smaller and likely older structures, making it feel natural rather than a wall of urban development. As producer Nate Moore put it, imagine a place that still has standing monuments that are centuries old, next to the most modern skyscrapers in the world. They haven't lost a lot of their cultural touchstones that other places have. Wakanda is designed to be a place that sits in between a technologically advanced society and a place that never lost its traditions. Unlike the side of the highway towns in America that are as technologically advanced as a brick and carry on the great American tradition of burgers and fries at McDonald's. One building peeks out from the rest of the urban sprawl, reminiscent of Johannesburg's urban sprawl and its Hillbrow Tower. The building is the Citadel, the palace of the Wakandan royal family and the meeting place of the tribal council. The Citadel is built on a complex defined by natural boundaries and sits on a series of stepped structures inspired by smaller and older African settlements of a similar design, while the two towers themselves are inspired off the design of the Great Mosque of Jen in Mali. The form of the stepped tower comes from there, as well as the bits sticking out of the tower, called torons, which are bundles of sticks that are used to keep the structure up and help with maintenance, a sort of built-in scaffolding. Various other real-world sites spanning centuries were brought together, like the Hausa houses, Tata Samba, as well as urban sites in Senegal and Nigeria, and were used to design Wakanda, giving it its iconic look. If you want to design your own traditionally futuristic city and break box office records while you're at it, you're gonna want to learn something about architecture, so make sure to subscribe.